Hello, welcome back. We are here for Apocalypse Keys, Bonds of Power, episode 11. We ended on a cliffhanger last time, but I would like to see what players remember from last time, significant in their brain from last session, and then we will go ahead and commence back. We can welcome back Elle to see what Wisp has been doing while everybody else has been causing some serious ass chaos outside. And then, yeah, we'll go on from there. All right. So, what do people remember? I did a small rewatch. So, boy, howdy, some stuff happened.
Made notes last time, and they say this: Vivi, but mostly Petri, close the rift. Vivi mistakes a rift monster for a pattern dancer and tries to stop a Halimaw from attacking it. Uh, Gets immediately pounced on by Garnet Cyclone / Malika and attempts to do emotional damage to a teenager. When that doesn't work, rips the Halimaw in two, which causes the time and space to get all wonky and the pilots start aging and mutating. Petri saves the day a second time, showing you that it wasn't in fact a pattern dancer and closing both rifts. Meanwhile, across the island, Zero connects with Celine, mind melds with her, and then uses her to steal the Halimaw by taking her brain like car keys. And then threatens Commander Payne and the base until the commander admits to experiments while standing dramatically on top of a giant monster mech thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Good notes.
Well done.
Well done. Yeah, you don't want to read the scribble that I got. All right. Fantastic. And then, yeah, Wisp. What do you think, while this is going on? What do you think Wisp has been doing to keep her engaged at the base and not realize what's going on? Because I think at one point, I mean, like, all the alarms went off because of the disturbances coming from the rift. And that's why the Halimaw had, a couple of Halimaw had gone out to take care of it in the first place. And then our intrepid Omens decided to help.
Help.
Yeah, I imagine that um, maybe through the psychic link that she has back at HQ, perhaps Division can sense, even if Division doesn't know exactly what's going on here, because Wisp was also not aware, they could sense that something was going on. So they had her like in a constant kind of connection with her psychic invoker. So she's been arguing with Dale this whole time.
How do you think how do you think that argument ended? Was it him or was it you? Or you can roll for it since you have the move.
Sure, it might be interesting to do the roll.
Okay.
Let me remember how it works. Okay, so I don't spend darkness tokens for this. I say how much I open my mind to the psychic invocation on a scale from 1 to 3. Okay. Yeah. Let's do 2.
Pardon. I think, in his snarky, staid way, I think he, Dale will send back a vision to you about, I think when he's able to do a lock on your connection and create that channel to give you the vision, I think he is trying to relay to you how important it is to find this girl, find this teenager and her Halimaw, like kind of giving you like, reports of Luna and her Halimaw. See, Luna. Yeah. And basically says that it is important to keep the rifts open for the energy that is being channeled from the rifts, even with the rift monsters coming out. The Halimaw and the teenagers are here on Island 0 to be able to protect the world from the rift monsters being a threat, along with the prayers as well as the void channels to be able to divert signals showing that Island 0 is even on the map. And again, he's stating the importance of keeping the rift open for energy to fuel, basically feed energy into the protections on the island itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then
I rolled
roll.
exactly an 8.
Okay.
So
Great. 8 to 10. Connection between you and the psychic invoker registers within safe parameters. Choose a number of questions from the list below equal to your psychic vulnerability, so 2. Psychic invoker will show you the answers in great detail. In addition, gain 1 bond with the psychic invoker. So, yay, another bond with Dale. Always what you wanted.
of course.
Of course.
What lie was born recently?
Oh, lie was born. You just double check my clue, one of the last clues versus the lore. Give me a second.
Oh yeah, if one of the other players wants to give a quick rundown of the keys that were found last time, that might be helpful for me
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, go ahead. If somebody wants to look at the mystery and then just read off the uncovered keys, especially the ones that were already attached to facets. So those are irrevocable. Like, those don't move from the places that they're already set. Just so you know.
So
Oh
we
yeah, yeah.
I don't think I think you were here for those, right?
I was here for it looks like the first 3 keys on that list, I remember. Maybe the first 4. But the context for the remaining ones would be helpful.
I forget what the 2 assigned were set up. Were you here for those? Do you remember those?
I know that I was the one to connect the deadly weapon to the Harbinger.
Yes. Okay. That's what I thought.
You have 7 keys, 1 away from fulfilling the complexity.
Okay, so we found I don't remember where we found the signs of sabotage, but we found the messages from Luna. Luna is the teen that became the Harbinger.
Oh, well, she disappeared.
Luna is the teen that her and her Halimaw disappeared and started this whole mystery. We found those when Zero was talking to her twin sister.
Not twin, older sister. Yeah.
Her older sister Celine, before the mind jacking and the Grand Theft Halimaw. And I don't actually remember where we got the collection of organs. I think inside the rift.
Yeah. Or
No, Zero saw that in Celine's head.
Ah, yes, that was it. Because you rolled well on the thing. Anyway, I think the general is the Harbinger.
Interesting.
The commander.
Whatever his name. Who cares? He's obviously evil. Whoever this guy Zero is threatening, pretty sure he's bad news.
Well, I mean, Zero doesn't make mistakes, so.
Well, what even is a mistake, really?
So what we have linked up is that the deadly weapon is linked to the Harbinger, and that the undying remains of the first monster is directly tied to the possession and disappearance of Luna. I was thinking of maybe looking in the direction of the scientist lady with the glowing eye or glowing eyes, because like glowing eyes, that's never a good sign.
Don't you have glowing eyes?
Yes.
Okay. Just checking.
But it's different.
Is it though?
His
I feel like you
glow
would be the
black.
first person to say it is not different.
Hers were glowing red. That's a sign of evil.
Wow. Can't believe you're just out here believing in stereotypes like that.
I think the commander can't be the harbinger because of the irrevocable truth that we have.
Which is
That the harbinger needs Luna to wield the deadly sword on its behalf, i.e., that the harbinger is not human. Which I mean,
yes.
maybe the commander is not human, actually. So never
Yeah.
Well, we
mind.
know he had a Halimaw at one point, and we know that being connected to a Halimaw changes you. So maybe he technically isn't. Maybe.
Yeah, that could be really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to. What lie was born recently? I'm debating whether I want to give you another key or if I want to make this like, you know, a twist of like what's already been mentioned. And that's.
I think per the move, it's not a key, it's just
Okay.
a fact.
Yeah. But what lie was born recently? Oh my gosh. So many lies. Zero, what do you remember of your conversation with Luna's older sister? If anything.
Not a lot, other than that the Halimaw organs are being harvested, and that it was part of some kind of prototype at first, or something along those lines. I don't think got a lot more concrete than that.
Right. Well, I'm going to say that that whole idea that the Halimaw organs are for building a prototype, if that's what you got from her vision, from the vision that you got from her head, I'm going to say that that's a lie that she was told. Yeah. So, no, it's not. They're not being harvested for a prototype or even to make things better. That's to you're not sure like what Dale's motivations are, Wisp, but I'm going to say that somehow he's showing you the truth that, again, the Halimaw's organs, the rift, is full of energy, and it's full of the rift monster's organs that can be harvested for energy. So it's almost like he's telling you, without telling you, what the true purpose of Island Zero is.
That's pretty spicy, Dale. Okay, my second question, sorry.
No.
Is what truth has been hidden?
Revocable truth based on this one. So you could rewrite or add a facet of the mystery that reflects this truth. I feel like this is something that you could create yourself. This is like your opportunity to create like a narrative, like a clue, right? I mean, like it's kind of like feels like a little bit of the between where you can stumble onto a clue. So you can declare it as an irrevocable truth, and then you would add it to a facet.
I do feel like I need a little bit of a prompt, especially since I missed last session. So does someone else want to tell me what truth has been hidden?
like all clues like that you create, this is your opportunity to put your thumb on the scale, and like however you're leaning, then this could be your opportunity to mess around with it. Or I could give a clue and then you mess with it. I mean,
Let's do that.
another key and then you want to mess with it?
Yeah.
Can totally do that. Sure. And because of what he like told you didn't tell you, Wisp, you could see behind the scenes and then underlying following vision that there is, just make sure. Yep, it's not in here yet. Secret research to force more rifts to open around the world. So you can put that in there and then mess around with it. So however you want to change it. And then declare it as part of one of the facets. So
Okay.
secret research to force more rifts to open around the world. That's the initial key.
Okay, so that's the key, and then separately I can rewrite or add a different facet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't put it in there because it's like I didn't know if you wanted to change it before it goes in.
No, that's fine. Okay, cool. I'll think about the facet and add it.
Gain a bond, and then there we go. All right. So while Wisp is occupied, all that fun stuff happened over by the rifts, and Petri and Vivi are making their way back in their now changed forms. Oh boy. Vivi has a different appearance now, Wisp. Vivi, do you want to tell Wisp what you look like now?
Vivi has grown 2 extra arms that are sort of these grasping, hungry claws, and keeps quietly trying to shove them back into their body, and they keep popping out again.
And I think last we saw Petri, Petri,
Yes, Petri has sort of foregone typical form and is now just a series of tubes slinking along the seafloor. Repairing universes is hard work. They're tired.
And Zero is saying, show them what you've done. Otherwise, I'll show you what I will do. Still gives me chills. All right. So yeah, Commander Payne's like, looking. He's looking right at you with no expression on his face. And he will approach the window closer to look you further in, well, for him, one eye, because he's got that eye patch that's sort of covered over, and then he'll look at you as intently as possible and say, I don't know what you're talking about, son. Nothing has happened here except for the safety and protection of the world, in order to keep Island Zero off the map and bring these trained youngsters and their Halimaw to this place, utilizing their abilities to protect and save the rest of the world. He looks very earnest when he says that.
In response to that, I would like to using my own telepathy and the Halimaw's power. I want to just blast the image that I saw in his head to the whole island.
Oh, nice, 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 nice. Okay. So, yeah, unless you have a specific playbook move for that, it's like that's definitely power through darkness.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Did you gain any darkness tokens that you want to use?
I don't think I don't think I've had an opportunity. I'm playing against the playbook's goals here, but yeah, so none.
Okay.
Also, before we get too far, impulses.
Ah, yes, thank you.
I knew I was forgetting something. Gotta rewrite those.
Cool. So I will roll just flat.
Okay.
Or no, I won't. I'll roll 2 dice separately. So that's a 5.
Oh, oh shit. On a 7 minus, the keeper will offer you something connected to what the darkness demands of you. Whether or not you take it, prepare for the worst. So, your darkness demands of you to destroy your friends before they destroy you, and to hurt those who care for me. Oh boy.
Normal fine things.
Huh?
Normal and fine things.
Normal and fine things, absolutely. I think as you attempt to do this and like tear the image that you saw, and also like utilizing Sakura Vanguard's power, I think, as you're trying to tear this, tell me what it looks like, Zero, when you go a little too far and your negative dream self manifests through others and spreads like a disease. Tell me what it looks like.
I think it starts with just kind of an awareness of a presence nearby, just at the corner of your eye, or other sources of vision, I suppose. But as he spreads further and gets rooted more in this reality, there's a voice too, and it isn't saying words that sound like words. It's not even making noise that sounds like noise, but it just makes you feel hollow.
I think everyone in the immediate vicinity, Payne, the Halimaw, Sakura Vanguard, whom you're riding, and even the rift monsters that might be wandering around that aren't as big as some of the Titans, I think they are all feeling hollowed out, unbalanced, and then you can feel what they feel magnified because you are this cloak of hollow within their heart, within your mind. What conditions do you have? Or have
None.
not? Yeah. What do you think is appropriate here?
Unreachable.
Yeah. You've scooped out so many, and that also includes yourself. And I apologize. I should have checked safety before I made a mention of that. There is a line on epidemics, pandemics. I mean, like, we're not going beyond the island or even beyond the immediate area. I just want to make sure that that's okay. So
That may I usually mark that one. I usually mark it in the context of like COVID. So
okay.
psychic mind hollow viruses, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure. Sorry about that. All righty. So, yeah. That is what people are feeling, including, well, Vivi, you weren't doing so hot to begin with.
Hmm.
I think you're part of this field that Zero has just blasted into everybody's consciousness. What are you thinking as you feel like something has hollowed you out as this darkness has fallen?
Vivi's reaction is to do what they always do when the emotions are too much, and that's to pretend that emotions don't exist. And so Vivi decides to go to the lab because that's where scientists go when they don't want to feel things.
Condition.
So,
Distant.
yep, and despairing.
Wisp, I think as you're coming out of your psychic channeling with Dale, I think you also feel hollowed out as well. Like it, again, everyone here is experiencing this hollowness. I mean, some double over as if in pain, like the Halimaw are screaming, perhaps wordlessly, but just making signs of distress. And other folks are experiencing it in their own physical or emotional ways. Wisp, how does it feel for you being hollowed out for this moment?
I think it's like it's actually very similar to how she feels much of the time, except the sort of photo negative version of it. Because usually it's like she feels she has so much power and energy and potential and can feel it wanting to go in every possible direction inside her, which means she doesn't end up doing anything. She can't figure out which way is the right way to go. And this is sort of that, but turned inward. Like everything inside her is telling her that there's nothing she can do, that everything is pointless. So she might as well not do anything.
Think despairing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works for me.
Petri, you may or may not be in the,
I think I am.
Okay.
I got one in the chamber and I want to use it basically.
Okay.
Even though I have 2 of 4 conditions marked.
Even in your excuse me, even in your non-human form. I mean, what does your what does your current entity feel?
So I, Chris, once had a very late night connecting flight through the Phoenix airport. I went outside the airport at exactly midnight. It was 100 degrees. There were no people around. There was literally no one inside or outside the airport visible at all. And the sky was pitch black, not even blue. That is what Petri is feeling now. He has never felt further from divinity and connection.
You feel any of the conditions fit?
I mean, both of the ones I have marked, or wait, I just have nihilism marked.
Evidently.
Evidently, I'll mark one and rename it.
Okay. I think Payne is knocked back, literally, from this. I mean, since you were aiming it at him too. I mean, like you were trying to pull this image from his mind to try and radiate it out to everyone else. You did, but not that particular, like, specific memory. So, yeah, he's knocked back and he's actually unconscious. And I think Sorry, don't have all the names. Yeah, Dr. Zamora, like, was also on the floor, and then she is crawling over to him and then just trying to get him to come to. She is, I guess her reaction is to yell in his face, and you can see the light from her eyes from that weird glow of her cyanic tech, pretty much like, gleaming towards his face, almost as if it's like searching to see how he's doing. What do you do? What do you all do?
So, I mean, Vivi's running from this in the most Vivi way possible by, is going to go to, like I said, going to the lab and trying to out-science the humans, because that'll be a thing to focus on that isn't this feeling.
Okay. Yeah, when you head into the lab, I'm going to say that you meet up with you may or may not have noticed her when you came in, and we're talking with Commander Payne and Director Dr. Zamora. She was someone dressed in a lab coat, had a bright dress on, and like, goggles pushed up over, like, really thick curly hair. And she greets you from her particular lab table. It's like, oh, hello. She has her goggles down because it looks like she was looking at something that is steaming or glowing or both. I mean, yeah.
Vivi just looks at her, says, I am here to investigate the disappearance, since your team seems incapable of solving it by yourselves. And just, like, walks past her.
Sure. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's really an odd circumstance. I know. I get it. And then as she's saying that and like leaning back onto her over her table, like, from another corner comes somebody else, like, dressed in a lab coat, and then you realize it's a similar bright dress, and it looks like it's her. It looks like it's Dr. Rosario again. Oh, hello.
At this, Vivi will pause and look back over their shoulder at the first one. Are we still there?
Yes. Hi, can I help you?
Why are there two of you?
Oh. Oh, they didn't explain that, did they? Did you need to talk to Rosario 00? She's the original. Because if it's, if you need to know something about like the general history of here, I mean, like, she's the one to talk to, but I'm the one who knows all about the Halimaw. I oversee the tech and everything like that. I used to be one of the pilots. No, that's Rosario 220. Shoot, I forget. And then the other one that was on the bit, like, by the lab table, she pipes up. It's like, we're clones. Sometimes we just kind of come out of the rift every so often.
And, like, despite themselves, Vivi's being drawn into this because this is just so unusual. And they'll say, how many of there you come out of the rift?
On occasion, yes. This is the one that's standing near you. Yeah, I think there's how many Rosario? And then the one by the table goes, it's like 24 last count. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, how do I lose a condition? Because
I'm sorry?
How do I lose a condition? That is killing me here. Vivi would want nothing more than to immediately get pulled off into whatever the heck this is. Okay.
I mean,
Let's see.
if you could need, I mean, the one that's standing by your elbow is like, saying, it's like, if you need great life advice, make sure you talk to Rosario 1-6. She's the one that gives that. Absolutely. Her shift, I
And
think, ends in an hour. You can go ahead and talk to her then.
where?
Probably living
Eh,
quarters. Yeah. She likes to take her leisure time very seriously. Yeah. So, I mean, she'll be done in an hour. Absolutely.
And Vivi will just like pull up a chair and say to, addressing both of them,
Hmm?
so do you remember each other's memories?
We remember that we are Rosario, and this is when they're talking together. We remember we're Rosario, but, we go by whomever was the last one to make sure that we're numbered correctly. But
And if a new one were to emerge, would she remember up until the point where she emerged, or do you remember from the very first time there were two of you?
I think, the way it goes, we think we remember, is that the original Rosario 00 will go near the rift for experiments, gathering samples, she said. And then one of us is created. It's like a mirror, but then there was no mirror to speak of. It's just she's there, and then we're here.
Like, and you have all persisted despite the rift being closed. And Vivi starts like looking around for like a notepad or something to start.
Oh, they
Like,
need us. They totally need us. I mean, we are the ones that help create the tech that assists the Halimaw and their pilots. I think, you know what? You probably need to find Rosario 00. She was the original. She was one of the originals. Like Commander Payne? No. And they're starting to like trying to debate with it between each other. It's like, was he one of the originals? I can't remember. I don't know. Yeah. So, but yeah, definitely. If you need life advice, definitely 1-6. 00 is probably out in the field again, looking for samples. Did you experience something earlier? I mean, we heard rumbles. We heard screams. Couldn't quite tell. I mean, obviously we're on the base.
oh, there was some unusual rift activity.
Oh, maybe there's another one of us. Oh, okay, great. 25. Yes.
Are there any of you that are less important?
They kind of like look at each other and it's like,
I understand that is a difficult question for
it's a personal
human
question.
and
We
well,
all consider ourselves important. You do too, I'm sure. But to be honest, we think that Rosario 110 probably doesn't pull her share. We didn't say that.
right, 110. Vivi's now hatching a plan to kidnap 10.
You guys kill me. It's great. Okay. While he's hatching this plan, love it. Let me head over to oh God, who do I head over to? God knows. Wisp, what do you want to be doing once you've felt hollowed out and you've been released from your channeling with Dale? Where do you want to go?
It seems like there's a lot that's revolving around this rift. which is still open now. It was closed at one point, but has opened again. Is that right? Is it?
Hold on. Trying to remember now. It's like it was back and forth.
We
Ripped
we
open
closed it.
violently. They closed it. Yeah, and then that's when
And-
Zero had stolen Sakura Vanguard. Yeah.
And Vivi
So-
opened a new one, but then I think Petri closed them both again.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
that was the thing because you tried phasing like the monsters together, and then Petri continued on with that work, and then used one of the rift monsters to kind of close
That's
them
right.
out. It was really confusing, but also beautiful. I was just like, holy shit. Yeah. So let's just say they're closed for to avoid confusion
now.
at the moment. For now, it's like, well, let's just say they're closed. But there's again secret, like one of the clues is secret research to force more rifts to open around the world. Unless you want to change that to make that.
It takes.
away.
It's never easy.
In that case, maybe I want to see if I can track down where these secret experiments might be happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe I do that by. I think even though her conduit with Dale is closed, there's
Mhm.
still like a bit of her psyche that's sort of like cracked open, like a hairline fracture in like an eggshell, and it takes a while for things to sort of totally smooth over again.
Okay.
So she does have this like sort of strange, almost psychic aura as that crack is repairing itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as she's like walking the halls of the facility, peering into the various labs, she's almost subconsciously using her powers of darkness to amplify any feelings of secrecy, of guilt, of ulterior motives.
Your psychic crack and feet take you over to the treatment ward to start. Former pilots struggling with their mutations. I think I had said that let me just look at the list. I think I had said that the pilots of Garnet Cyclone and Apostle Solar were experiencing some physical issues as someone had accelerated their changes. And they are here. Malika Connor and Asterio Romano. They are here in this treatment ward trying to make sense of what happened to them. Retired Halimaw are here. You don't know their names. They're, again, former pilots, and some of those retired monsters are in this place. And you realize that one of the Halimaw is a former pilot. When they recognize you, what psychic flashback do you see? I'm going to say that this person is an adult, and you can see the signs of mutation in their face and in their head. And I'm going to say that those tendrils and those horns, are those from you, or are those like a headdress that your people wear, Wisp?
It's like part of her body. Yeah.
Yeah. Strangely enough, this person, their mutations resemble a lot of that you have on your own form. Perhaps there are even markings that resemble warrior markings from your own people. But how is that? And they rise from their bed and look at you and say, "My lady?" What psychic vision do you see?
I think I got a vision from my childhood, but from this other person or being's perspective. Like they're another child there with me. And we're playing in a sort of ruin of a castle. There's like stone rubble all around us. And we're just kids. We're playing, tag or hide and seek, something like that. Sort of diving behind the crumbling rocks and giggling, trying to catch one another. Because I'm seeing from their eyes, I can't see their face, but I get this like overwhelming feeling that this is the person I would have considered my first and until quite recently only friend.
But the proportions are wrong for your people. This person is, again, a former pilot, but an adult human that just somehow seems to have the visage, the markings, and the growths, I guess, to indicate that they are one of your people, but they're not. Or are they? They're as small as a human. But yes, this is something that you have not seen before.
Yeah, I think Wisp is in sort of a defensive posture already. Not quite going for her sword, but it's almost this fight or flight that visibly arises in her in the way she like holds herself and in the sternness of her face.
You see here, like, several attendants slash lab assistants and such. Could be nurses or doctors in lab coats. You see a particular one. No, you don't know because you may not have noticed them again, like, when you were first brought into Mysterious. But you see this person, like, kind of plump, with dark skin, thick curly hair, and goggles, like up on their head, in their hair. And they're wearing a lab coat over a bright dress. Camera would see that it's similar to, but resembles the ones on the person that Vivi is now meeting. Yeah, I mean, she's just kind of coming over and greeting you. Hello, welcome to our treatment ward. These are our former pilots, just like me, but yeah, they are experiencing some difficulties and some mutations from their time as pilots.
I think Wisp is still locking eyes with this other person with the strange sort of fey-like markings. And she'll like kind of point a clawed finger at them. What is their name?
Oh, let me check. And then she like kind of goes to a console and just that is let's see. Donovan Revis. Yes. Yeah, they were here. Well, they started here at least a decade ago. And yeah. They are experiencing some changes. And then she kind of tilts her head and looks at you more closely. Oh. and then looks back at him. Interesting. Oh, it seems to be resembling you. Are you a relation?
No, it's not possible. Show me their file. Read it to me.
Can't really do that. They actually do a lot of redaction because of like trying to keep everything secret here, really. Once they come onto the island, it's like, things are pretty much marked out, so this way essentially the island can't be found and neither can we.
I am here on order of division. I know all about your secrets, your rifts, and your kumbaya prayer circles, so show me his file.
Oh, she shrinks in a little on herself, like, because you're massive compared to her, of course. Well then, okay. Here you go. And then she will kind of like type up something, like, like pulling up with a picture of how he originally looked, and then like kind of turn the console monitor to you. This is what we have. Again, don't be surprised. Like, you see a lot of black space there. Some things were not really allowed to know. So let me know if you need any help. I'm Dr. Rosario. 1-5.
I think Wisp starts reading what she can read, what's not redacted of the file, kind of aloud to herself, like loud enough so that this Rosario can hear. And she's doing it slowly because she's, again, not a great reader. But
I think this is when like Warren Peace, like Agent Peace might be coming in.
well,
Not
I
Warren
think
Ward. Yeah.
I think she's doing this because she's not necessarily expecting to find, I mean, she doesn't think that the real secret stuff is going to be in this file, but she wants to try to read this Rosario, because she followed that feeling of secrecy, of guilt in here, and she wants to know if this is where it was coming from. This meaning Rosario.
Right. That is a... Are you trying to connect? Did you say it's a reveal your heart, or are you trying to grasp keys?
I think it's more of a grasping keys.
That's fine. Gathering powers of darkness, sure. You're explaining how you did so. You have any darkness tokens that you want to use?
I probably do. Let me see. Yeah, I have 4. I'll spend 3 of them.
Okay.
5.
What?
It's 5.
Total?
I rolled snake eyes.
What the?
That's a 6.
2 plus 3.
Oh no, right.
Last time I checked, that was
maximum.
5.
Right.
I mean,
thought you said 4 for some reason. I was only kind of listening. Whatever.
It's fine. On a
Are y'all
7
doing
line.
British math again?
Sorry. On a 7-, you find more than you were ready for. You may choose to mark ruin to uncover a key, but in doing so, the keeper will reveal how you come closer to becoming a harbinger. Oh gosh, you guys are making it so fun.
Yeah, I'm for sure gonna mark ruin for this.
Okay. Oh man. Dang. Okay. Roman key. All right. Give me a second. I have to give you a key, and then I'm going to reveal how you become harbinger. I mean, why not? Everybody else seems to be damn close. I always feel like, like you guys have like uncovered practically everything, and then there's still more. I think in your searching through this this file, I mean, maybe Wisp has some tech ability, maybe she doesn't, but I think maybe that psychic connection thing is still going on. And you're able to discern things that are beneath the surface. And one of the things that you see is you find somehow like a classified file, like underneath all the redactions, or maybe tied in like as a weird link to the redactions. And I don't think once you start seeing this, I don't think you start saying this out loud. You start seeing detailed instructions on how to force the Halimaw to go berserk, killing their pilots is labeled as acceptable collateral. And then it's as if, like, once you manage to see it, somehow redaction catches up to it, and then it starts being marked and blacked out. As if it was never there.
And if I turn to look at Rosario, seeing her, seeing me, see this, does there seem to be guilt there, or knowledge that this is happening at very least?
It's almost as if she can read on your face what you've seen, and then she kind of looks around at the ward and just looks stricken, as if, what a waste, and like wanting to do more but can't. So yeah, you might sense some kind of guilt because of that. Maybe even possibly, if not her in particular, maybe knowing that one of the other clones is involved in this.
Interesting. I want to talk to Donovan next, but
Yeah.
that feels like a good place to switch by.
Yeah, let's go over to Petri. Yeah, Petri,
I'm still in panic mode after having been briefly hollowed, right?
yeah, well, I mean, where do you find yourself? I mean, are you still kind of like skulking on the bottom of the ocean floor? Or are you back on land, making your way to the base?
Petri is scrabbling as fast as they possibly can to get to anyone else.
Okay.
Please, anyone else. To the point of like just forgetting to take human form while crawling onto the base. So there is just a layer of very fast moving like slime currently creeping up one of the launch bays of Zero Island, presumably.
Yeah, I think this is where like Lydia will come upon you. I mean, she lost track of you. I mean, obviously once you dropped human form, I mean, like, it was kind of tough to follow what was happening, but I think she
Check
knows.
minds real quick.
She realizes that you somehow know to come back to whatever was designated like home base, but I mean, at the very least, like the hovercraft is here, so like maybe
To be clear, Petri isn't like when he's in mold state, he's not like any less intelligent.
Oh no, I'm
or
not
different
saying
in any way, except for being a low carpet.
but I mean, like once you drop out of human form, I think she knows that you know to kind of come back to where start was. So yeah, she'll be there, and then like seeing you approach, I mean, she's probably seen this form before or senses that it's you.
I mean, it's a very particular sort of glitter-filled purple color.
Yeah. So yeah, she recognizes the signature, right? Petri, are you okay? I mean, she's talking directly to you.
And when the like crest of the mold or the slime reaches her, I think it will like crawl all the way up her body, sort of perfectly envelop her, and then Petri will like. So imagine a shell around Lydia that then takes on a life of its own, steps away, and morphs into Petri.
Are you?
I'm sorry, I had to do that to you.
Did you need like kind of like a structure to base off of? Is that why you did it?
I think I just wanted to be close to something. And you were there, but I'm glad it was you.
I think she'll reach out to embrace you if you'll let her.
You will absolutely do that. And also sort of collapse and like it's not like hugging a person. The
Oh, yeah.
parts that make contact do kind of turn back into slime for a second.
Sure. I mean, like, again, she's your handler, so she's probably used to it. So she's like, ah, what happened
She
out
has
there?
been through so much. I closed the rift. Not for good, I don't think, or at least not the first time. The second time, I did a very good job, but I still don't think it was permanent. Vivi is very sad.
Can't report that. I can't report that back.
I wouldn't recommend it now.
No.
Especially not with why are the alarms all going off? What is happening?
Be-
What have I missed?
Because 2 of the Halimaw were sent out to handle the rift monsters that were coming out, and you, I guess Vivi, had
One
closed.
each.
You closed the rift. Where are the 2 Halimaw?
Gone.
What did you 2 do?
I needed them to close the rift. Well, I needed one of them. Vivi just sort of took out the other one because it was there.
It's not part of the mission at all. We were just sent here to find out what happened to one of the pilots and the Halimaw. What?
Well, now they don't have to be pilots, and there don't have to be Halimaw.
Who's gonna protect the rest of the world?
From
against...
what? The rift is closed.
It says repercussions.
Not nearly as many as you think.
Sometimes I wish I could see what you see, because
I can show you.
What?
If you want.
Is that wise?
I don't know. Usually I ask you that. Usually you have an answer.
For the past few days, I feel less and less sure about answers. There's just a whole lot of questions, Petri. That's separate right now. I mean, right now we are on Island 0, which has been essentially zeroed out from public consciousness, from world consciousness. No one should be able to see this island except when it needs to be found. And
well, that probably changed when they closed the rift. They were drawing an awful lot of energy out of that thing.
Yes, they were. And then there's something happened where I felt like I was emptied.
Oh. I don't think I did that.
No.
Usually I do the opposite.
It didn't feel like you, no. It felt very cold. I guess I don't blame you for embracing me for that moment. I'm
Thank you.
reporting. What?
Where are the others?
I think I saw Vivi go to the lab, and well, Wisp was over by the hangar, but then she went to someplace down in the lower level.
Where's Zero?
Oh no,
I forgot about him again.
I was gonna ask you.
Mm,
We saw him on the monitor. He was approaching on one of the Halimaw. What happened out there? And then we felt that darkening emptiness, something, and then I don't know where he went. I've been here waiting to see when you would be back.
we need to find him.
Okay.
All right,
And,
let's do just that.
Okay.
Where is Zero?
That leads us to Zero. So Zero, this is all happening with everybody else after the hollowing. That's what we're gonna call it. We're just gonna call it the hollowing. What do you do after the hollowing?
I
mean,
think Zero's going to have a moment where he realizes what he's done, what's just happened. And then I think he's gonna like punch through the wall and King Kong Commander Payne.
Okay. Oh man.
Just grab him in the Halimaw's fist or maw or whatever
Mhm.
rasping appendage there is, and take off.
Oh my god. Oh jeez. Unleash the dark. You're channeling through, well, what you just did and also Sakura. So, yeah. Spend darkness tokens and roll.
An 11.
On an 11, your control falters and you go too far. Choose one, but the keeper describes an unintended consequence. So, one of those things under 8 to 10.
So for power through dark?
Unleash the dark. Unleash the dark.
Other one. Okay. I mean, I think I'd like to gain the upper hand for now.
Okay. So you're flying away with Commander Payne.
Yes.
I think as Commander Payne is in Sakura Vanguard's maw and kind of like, I don't know if he's like kind of hanging there or like if they've got them like, you know, through the middle, and then like he's able to kind of like, you know, look up and see you. But I think his one eye is glaring at you, like, you know, in his still shocked state, and he's saying, "You won't get away with this. You can't. The power here needs to be collected and contained. What you're doing, what you think you're doing, is creating chaos." You may or may not hear him over Sakura's wings.
I think he can. I think he does hear, but and it's going to make him feel a little uncertain, but he's committed now. What can he do other than see this through?
Where are you planning on taking him?
Where was Sakura Vanguard?
Sakura Vanguard was like over by the monstrous graveyard. I think that's what it was described as.
Let's go
Monster
there.
graveyard, sorry. Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna say that you arrive with Sakura Vanguard at the monster graveyard, and like they let them go not very gently. And like, Commander Payne goes rolling off down the one hill. And his description is, when a rift monster dies, it is never pretty. The outpost tries to increase the rate of decomposition, but some of these strange remains have been around for years. Which of these fallen rift monsters embodies what the darkness demands of you?
I think there is a Halimaw or a rift monster that is from the waist down, it was one kind of bipedal being, but from the waist up, it was like two beings glued together. It had separate torso and head, and they looked alike, maybe like twins, but one has shoved its fist straight through the other's chest, and the other died crushing the skull of the first.
A very strange kind of yin yang. And that's what you see when you alight from Sakura. Do you go to Commander Payne and try to duke it out, or are you just alighting and then looking around? What are you doing?
No, I think he's going to go to confront the commander.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
he'll hop right off Sakura Vanguard and just start walking toward where the commander rolled to a stop.
Mm-hmm. I think when you approach him, like he's prone, and he has his fists balled up like next to his head, and his head is facing down into the ground, but then it lifts up and he pushes himself up onto his elbows, but stays there on the ground and just kind of starts laughing at you, looking at you with that one glaring eye.
I think this throws Zero entirely, and he doesn't quite know how to react to this, and he's just going to say, what?
We bring you in, Division. We bring you in to help us find out what happened to Luna and her Halimaw, and you come in here. Oh, what is it? Just trying to instill your own impressions upon the place, as if you know better, as if you know what's good for Island Zero and the planet and the people on it.
He's going to kind of get a little closer and crouch and say, that's not what they send me places for. And he's just going to unfurl his claws.
Should I cut to somebody else, or are you going to tell me what you intend on doing?
This is just a threat. He's not intending on slicing and dicing. Just
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
unless pushed.
Unless okay. So that's 0. Just for time's sake, let me take a look at something. All right, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Am I looking at that right? 9? I can count. I really can, but it's kind of hard because I have to stretch my screen. I count 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4,
9
5.
clues. Yep.
Okay. So you can either try to grasp keys, like, for a little longer to add to your theory, whatever that particular theory might be, or we can, like, pause here, to, do an out of character conversation, like freewheeling discussion about what you think is going on in terms of keys to facets and unlocking Doom's door. Because I'm going to say, just to push it just a wee bit, I'm going to say that it was a delayed reaction, but from the Halloween, it wasn't the only consequence that people were emotionally or mentally hollowed. I think it also affected things on the base. The alarms kept ringing, and certain things that may have had some hairline fractures now have a distinct crack. Without being seen by anyone, there's huge vats of some amber liquid that house some Halimaw resting in what's supposed to be their rejuvenation fluid. And the sound of cracking glass is heard in this particular chamber as loud as thunder. The huge vats of amber liquid that house the sleeping Halimaw crack and break. The outpost is soon flooded in liquid. What is keeping the liquid from releasing the psychic dreams of the Halimaw?
I really want to say nothing.
I really want to say Luna,
Mm.
or perhaps some kind of prayer
Hmm.
that not even the official, like, not a prayer not from the dedicated, like, prayer office of Island Zero.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna say that's probably very true. Hold on. Prayer keeping liquid. Releasing psychic dreams. Again, in this chamber that no one has heard the crack as loud as thunder, Petri is correct. There is a prayer that is keeping the psychic dreams bound, but it is not something from one of the clerics. It is not something from one of the psychic invokers who is calling upon void channels. It is a prayer, a chant, an ancient thing that weaves its way through the halls of Mysterious from distant parts unknown. And it sounds a little bit like moth wings. So I put it to you. You can either try to grasp for a few more keys, or I mean, I know I've left you all in, like, some strange places, but again, I mean, like, just checking in. So again, you can grasp for a few more keys, or you can, like, kind of look at what you got now with the 9, and then try to weave them into some kind of theory. Keys to facets. What do you think? You got enough, or you want to search for some more? At least one more each.
Nah,
I mean, you
let's
can
just
always,
fucking go for it.
yeah, we can always discuss it. And if we get real stuck, we can be like, okay, never mind, and go back
Yeah.
and find more clues.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. Because
I
as
feel like
always,
we've
it's like we never
discovered.
we never resolve, like, right in the same place, the same
Yeah.
time that we like, put together a theory. It's like next time. So, all right. So, anybody have any places that they want to start? Remember that the like a facet, each of the facets have to have at least one key. Okay. And the facets are the possession and disappearance of Luna Nakahara and Hydra Omicron, the rift, deadly experiments, the harbinger, and the door of power. And don't go by the number of cells that's under each key. I mean, that's just something of the way the doohickey was created. So, it has to be at least one key associated with each facet.
So, I mean, the general shape that I don't have a specific clue mapping, but sort of where I end up with is we know that they're drawing a lot of energy from rifts, and the Halimaw are associated with the rifts, and it makes me wonder if Payne and the facility in particular are trying to effectively turn this entire process into like weird eldritch power generation on demand, so they could take a teenager somewhere, fuse them with a Halimaw, make a rift, like fuse that whole thing together, and just have like a power station with a kill switch, a literal kill switch.
And if you can, again, associate a lot of clues to the appropriate facets, I mean, like, you got yourself a working theory. Yeah, go full doom. Sure. Yeah, I mean, like, what else can you incorporate under each thing?
I don't know. Is
Yeah.
that a direction that? Let me hear other directions first before I start trying to.
See, I'm kind of stuck on the rift as a thing because all of our clues either come out of the rift or that like definitively take place after it.
For the recording, I'm just going to read off the keys. The undying remains of the first monster that created the interdimensional rift and their growing powers. Failed attempts at fusing humans and rift monsters into something powerful but uncontrollable. A deadly weapon that only a human can wield. It can kill any Halimaw instantly, but is ineffective against rift monsters. Power from the rifts harnessed and the corruption that bleeds from it. Signs of sabotage barely perceived. Messages from Luna that were never sent, admitting to deep-seated fears that no one knew she had. A collection of Halimaw organs, their rift energy harvested in cruel ways. Secret research to force more rifts to open around the world. And detailed instructions on how to force the Halimaw to go berserk. Killing their pilots is labeled as acceptable collateral. So,
Well, I mean, just to spitball a different idea entirely, we also could just say that Fletcher, when he aged out of piloting his Halimaw, whatever the heck that was originally,
yeah.
That's actually when the possession happened. And this is like stage 2 is now jumped to Luna, and he has been possessed the entire time and trying to actually secretly open the rifts. And that would make him the harbinger.
Yeah, that tracks. Like obviously they're going through Luna to get to the Halimaw. Question I don't think we have enough information to answer is why.
And that's where you would take in a way, I always find that once you match keys up with certain facets, maybe you can contextualize the motivations and the reason why, once you have those things matched up. It's kind of creating that whole pattern board of, all right, why does that fit? And then that's where you come up with your answer.
So obviously they've gone full Doom, and Commander Payne has been driven to evil by some kind of Rift-born corruption. Or maybe he was just like that and is doing this totally by his own choice.
Well, I kind of like Payne as a Rift monster, just a subtle human-shaped one.
Wave 2, except here's my problem. I can't get Pacific Rim out of my head. I can't stop reading the thing on the other side of the rift as like an intelligent enemy. And Payne is definitely fitting that mold if he is a rift monster.
What if he's not? What if he reacted so badly to Zero's hollowing, he was knocked out fully because he is already hollow, and that like disrupted the connection to what's actually puppeting him?
Oh.
Wow.
That's
why he's getting all cryptic.
Like there's no pain in Payne. It's whatever. It's the
It's
harbinger.
whatever it is. Yeah.
Someone's piloting him like people pilot a Halimaw?
Yes.
Yes.
And obviously they've gone to Luna and stolen Hydra Omicron for some reason. Probably whatever Hydra Omicron specifically can do. Or maybe Luna was just the weakest one.
So sorry, we're saying the same entity that's puppeting Payne is also puppeting Luna?
Yes.
Okay.
And what if that is the undying remains of the first monster? It's dead rift monster dreaming.
I kind of like the idea that like the we killed the first rift monster and Payne kind of showed up after that. Like Payne is the first rift monster, or
in
to it. So
killing
I guess is what
it,
you're I guess is exactly what you just said. Sorry.
No, it's not. Maybe in killing it hollowed Payne out and lives on through him. And that's why it's undying, because technically its essence or spirit is just found a new home.
I like that a lot.
So do we put that under
the Harbinger, I guess?
It's already under possession and disappearance.
Damn.
I mean, it's not wrong for it to be there, too. Like, it's a sequence of.
I mean, like, you could say obliquely that it's connected to the possession and disappearance of Luna, Nakahara, and Hydra Omicron, because if Payne killed that first monster, but then the first monster essentially consumed him in the process and hollowed him out, and he was already possessed even before, Zero like really knocked it out of him, or knocked Payne completely out of him. I mean, like, there's that whole idea of like, well, why the possession and disappearance of Luna? Why did she have to disappear with her Halimaw? If they possessed her too, like, or something possessed her too, why would they need to make Luna and Hydra Omicron disappear?
I'll circle back to that a bit. No, please go ahead.
I mean, then maybe Luna isn't as fully possessed, and the possession was like, oh no, Luna found out, let's go make her walk into a rift to get rid of her before we lose control.
So But does that mean, like, do you think that she's still okay, or that she's moved on because the possession didn't take hold completely?
I mean, I think that perhaps Luna was possessed and disappeared, got sent into Rift because the possession was very short, but now can't find a way home.
Ooh.
Like if Luna finds out, if Luna discovers Payne's secret, and Payne has a window of psychic control for like 3 minutes, what can you do? Well,
So the signs of sabotage barely perceived. I feel like that can go with the Harbinger. That's Payne. He's saying one thing but making sure to leave little back doors and whatnot to make sure that what the real goal is will happen.
or any attempts to actually close the rift or become too effective get just subtly sabotaged.
And you're saying that goes under the rift?
Harbinger? Rift? Harbinger?
I mean,
I think Rift.
Rift.
I think that's evidence that Payne is keeping the rift open.
And maybe the rift energy being harnessed is because if so the island is already powered by rift energy and Halimaw stuff, but if they can get the global power grid, if they can get this energy into the global power grid, they could open rifts anywhere. So maybe this is an attempt to spread the influence.
Well, then what about the organs and the fusion? I mean, I guess
So-
the fusion would be probably Doom's door, whatever it is.
I was going to
Door of
put
power.
detailed instructions on how to force the Halimaw to go berserk under Door of Power, because I can see Payne effectively needing to have a plan for when the door finally appears. The Halimaws need to be not interrupting it, so having a way to make them go berserk at a critical moment would be required to open the door. Just to get them to be, not actively fighting it.
Makes sense. Slot it in.
Oh, and well, there's the truth that the Harbinger needs Luna to wield the deadly sword. Luna didn't wander off. Luna's in waiting because this moment is coming. So they've set her aside and made sure they can't lose her.
Actually works, because if you're going to make all the Halimaw go berserk, but you need that one, you put it far away.
Perhaps on the other side of the rift.
Yeah.
Why not? Okay.
The fusing of the rift monsters, maybe that isn't Payne. Maybe that's the scientist lady with the eyes. Whose name I can't.
That's the director, Dr. Zamora.
That's it, Director Zamora. Maybe that's an entirely separate thing, not a red herring, but the deadly experiments, and Payne has been kind of influencing that to their own ends.
It kind of leads back to, if I'm following this correctly, it kind of leads back to if Payne has been slowly consumed by the first monster, first rift monster, then once the possession is complete, he can dictate what's going on. So eventually, regardless of, or excuse me, contrary to what he's actually saying, they are trying to make Island Zero known, or at least keep it covered up until they're ready to reveal that, hey, we're opening a ton of rifts now. Like, what, at the very least for capitalism, because making a lot of rift energy is good for everyone, and at the worst it's releasing a lot of monsters to take out any competition, or to just lay waste to the world and then stand out on top at the end.
I don't think there has to be a bigger plan than that, honestly.
I guess what's not super clear to me yet is if Payne is being controlled by this undying interdimensional monster, like what benefit does that monster reap from having this like these powerful energy sources all over the world? Because if we're talking about like making power stations, that sounds like a more human motivation to me. It sounds maybe capitalistic or something done for financial gain or political power, right? It sounds less like something a giant creature from another world would want.
But
What
also-
if you want to take over and colonize a planet, having one ingress is difficult. Having hundreds of ingresses,
Egre-
you,
Wait,
yeah,
ingresses? I don't know.
ingresses is much more difficult, right? Like you can centralize a defense around one remote island. You can't centralize it if you have, rifts in every major city.
Mm-hmm.
And also too, I mean, like it may be like, at the humans or what have you are thinking that this is beneficial to us, like, for pure capitalism, but then like really the creature entity that's pulling the strings is pretty much saying it's like, oh no, 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 no. It's like we're gonna remain secret until we have more of these things open, not for energy for you, but for, as Matt said, like entrances for us.
Okay, yeah, I think that's
And-
the connective tissue that was missing.
Yeah, and there might be like a second tier to the plan that requires, Halimaw, Oregon, and they might need power plants set up anyway for whatever phase 2 of the invasion is.
And if the Halimaw, I mean, again, it's just a cover up for this is what is going to keep the humans distracted and happy, thinking that they're protecting their own interests, protecting their world. But this entity can use, like, well, these experiments are part of it. Like, finding out that the Halimaw organs can be used in good ways for the good of the humans in its own way, but also for the entities. Everybody's got an agenda. So at least that's what it sounds like to me. I'm not familiar with Evangelion, sorry.
Well, you don't have to be because this is it. Pretty much one for one.
Okay.
All right. So now it's just matching up keys and facets to make this fit.
So signs of sabotage, that's the harbinger, because that's Payne directly, yeah? Okay.
Or what is wearing the Payne shell? Sure. Let's call it
the
that.
Payne suit, yeah.
The Payne suit.
Payne suit. There we go. And then we have messages from Luna that were never sent, admitting to deep-seated fears that no one knew she had. That's directly connected to her disappearance. That's she figured something out, or knew something was up but didn't get a chance to act on it.
Or maybe just was the angstiest teen and therefore the best target.
Interesting.
Or she was having suspicions, and that's what made Payne make the move to get her, put her safe away for later.
Yeah.
What if Payne's original plan was to fuse Luna with a rift monster to control her, but because she figured it out early, he had to quickly pivot and do something else?
So that's the failed attempts at fusing humans and rift monsters? Okay. Okay.
And it didn't get far enough along. I'm putting it under deadly experiments.
Oh, okay. That works too. God knows there's a bunch of experimentation, which is content warning on this particular mystery for sure.
power from the rifts harnessed and the corruption that bleeds from it into the rift.
Hmm.
I also like the idea that like having, especially the corruption that bleeds from it, like if you can open these up everywhere, you might make humanity less able to respond to some invasion because the actual rift power has already weakened them or made them more susceptible to rift monster psychic damage or something. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's like radiation. So you're collecting power, sure, but you get too close or you don't contain it well, then you're going to be corrupted by it. You're going to be irradiated by it.
So
Makes
the power from the rifts harnessed and the corruption that bleeds from it is part of the plan to open more rifts and thus take over the world. Would that be part of the door of power?
I mean, or the rift, either one.
I think what
Yes.
we're learning here is that they're the same thing,
That's that's what
which is, I don't know what I don't understand facets well enough to.
So that just leaves a collection of Halimaw organs. Is there a specific thing that
Do we need it? How's
I
our
think-
role looking?
Well, I mean, if you incorporate all of these clues, then you get a +1.
Ah,
I mean, I'd imagine the collection of Halimaw organs is part of the whole deadly experiments thing.
right?
Because again, their rift energy is being harvested in cruel ways. That's definitely a deadly experiment.
Okay.
So let's see, did we cover everything? So 1, 2, 3, 4, no, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, why am I counting 10? What the hell?
there are 9.
Okay.
A duplicate. That's all.
Okay. That's what I was like. Wait, I'm counting 10. What's going on? Okay, cool. All right, great. So
everything in every category works.
yeah, so long as there's at least one key for every facet. Okay. So who's rolling? Don't all jump up at once.
Matt, this is your theory. I'm making it your responsibility.
Okay. So it's +1 to a roll.
Yeah, 2d6 +1.
A total of 8.
Nice.
We take
All right.
those.
Yes.
Actually, wait, that's good.
Yes,
That's
it
the
is very
best
good.
one.
Yep. It is in the sweet spot. Okay. Sorry. Here we go. So let's see. Unlocking Doom's door. Say what you believe it to be. Connect the keys to the facets of the mystery, revealing the Harbinger. Roll and add the number of connected keys minus the mystery's complexity. Roll is not affected by darkness tokens, bonds, or any other move. Okay. So 8 to 10. You have tracked down Doom's door. You know exactly where it is and how to unlock it. In addition, the Keeper will present an opportunity to protect what matters most. Take down the Harbinger or otherwise drive back the apocalypse. So, actually, let me look at the door of power clues again. But a deadly weapon. No. Seals and strike. Yep. Killing the Halimaw. Oh boy. Secret research. Yeah. So again, if that Halimaw's organs are poop create rift energy. How the force the Halimaw to go berserk killing their pilots is labeled as acceptable collateral. I mean, Halimaw go unpiloted, go crazy, and are instantly vulnerable fodder for the rift monsters themselves. And with the secret research to force more rifts to open around the world, who's to protect the place? So, yeah, you just have to decide where you think this particular door of power is, around or on Island Zero itself. And then you will take care of it.
The rift?
No, the door.
The door.
Right, I know.
Door
Oh, sorry.
The rift?
I'm going to counter suggest the undying remains of the first monster deep inside of this facility, because that some part of that monster is still there. And so, or is that the rift?
That is up to you.
I mean, created the first rift. I don't know. Do we want another showdown at the rift? We already did that.
Okay, so
Or do you
hold on a
want
second.
one?
So
What
here's
rift?
a thought. Well, right. I mean, like, here's a thought. Because Petri and Vivi have kind of helped seal the rifts that were seen, who's to say that there wasn't already another rift somewhere else that is being fed to you or open further? And it could conceivably be deeper into the facility. So
Yeah, what if Luna panics and breaks out after being in cold storage on the other side of the rift?
I love the idea of the giant external rift as a distraction too. Like, oh yeah, look over there, all the monsters are over there. Meanwhile, deep in the facility, they have a pet rift that they're doing other things with.
yeah.
Hmm.
Why not?
Maybe when Zero broke the connection between Payne and the monster, it broke Luna's binds. And in freeing herself, she opens the door.
Luna crawls back out of the rift somewhere, and thus her crit crawls back out of wherever the rift points to, thus reopening wherever the door needs to be.
Second smaller rift.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then so I will present you an opportunity to protect what matters most, take down the Harbinger, or otherwise drive back the apocalypse. So let me ask you something, because you were all kind of in a state of in the middle of something. So do you want to? We are nearing 10 o'clock, so there's essentially a half an hour between now and finish of the session. So do you want to wrap up in some way your particular scenes where you were? Because yes, Wisp was on the verge of finding out something possibly important to her, and Zero was in the midst of taking on Commander Payne or the Payne suit, and Vivi, you were having an interesting conversation with Dr. Rosario, and Petri, you were going to go find Zero. So,
And I think, yeah, I'm fine ending it a little early if everyone else is.
what do you think, guys? I mean, it doesn't, like, not everybody has to have a scene either. So, I mean, like, for those of you that feel that you want to have like a little bit of resolve, or you want to narrate it instead, we don't have to fully role play. We can do that too. What do you think? Because I still want to get through like end of session and of course stars and wishes. So, yeah.
I think at least for Vivi, it would be thematically appropriate for Vivi to go looking for Rosario 10, end up talking to Rosario 1-6, which is the life advice one, and before good advice can be given, chaos, doom's door, whatever. So I'm fine with just sort of hand waving that sequence of events.
I feel like if Elle, if you're interested, I would like to see more from Wisp's. What was going on with Wisp?
I think I would like to have that conversation, but it's also possible to do as long as maybe Donovan can come back to Division with us when all of this is done. I think Wisp would probably insist on that. So it doesn't have to be now.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So putting a pin on that for later. So bring back Donovan. Bring back Donovan.
And Rosarios. All the Rosarios. Or at least some of the Rosarios.
We're gonna adopt this entire island.
Why don't we just
if you don't like sink it into the ocean first?
Zero's hostile takeover will occur, but everyone on it is coming back to Division with us.
Oh my god. Oh my
Taking
God.
all these teens. Vivi is taking all the Rosarios.
Why don't we just take over? Like,
We'll
She's-
see. We'll see how good this gets. I can't wait. Oh my God. This will be great.
Yeah, what if this is just our new home? What if
Well,
we
one
just
of the-
live here
the-
now?
Yeah, I'm sure one of the world trees could just grow a branch out here for us easily enough.
exactly.
Eh,
Weather seems nicer.
I mean, okay, so I'm just gonna mention that as a wish right now, but we're gonna get to some end of session stuff. But I mean, like, you guys haven't utilized talking to either of the trees, so I'm leaving that up to you. All right, so somebody got to talk to some trees.
We've had too much angst.
You seriously have had too much thanks. You're not worried about it's like a tree grows in Brooklyn. Yeah, so here too. Anyway, okay, end of session question. Jesus, Wisp. Did you express your monstrous nature and or express your humanity?
I think she had that memory of her past, which told us more about her nature, perhaps.
Sure. I like it. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
Not yet, I think.
Yeah, close. Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
Again, not yet.
Did you did you uncover at least one key of the apocalypse or attempt to unlock Doom's door? Yes, because we did the session, so you do not have to mark ruin. All right, and then impulse.
And
Pick
that's another one I would have gotten with Donovan, I think, but not. I didn't quite make it there.
Alrighty. Okay. The found. 0. Did you express your monstrous nature and or express your humanity?
I think so.
Yes. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
I don't think so.
Even with hollowing everybody out?
Yeah, I guess he didn't know you could do that.
I mean, definitely, it's definitely something. I think all of us felt your impending ruin.
Jesus. Yeah. Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
I don't think so.
No. And yes, you did attempt to unlock Doom's door, so no ruin is marked. What was your impulse?
Did I use the emotions or memories of another to create a cruel advantage? That's what I was going for with Payne's memory.
Yep. Alrighty. Okay. The last. Vivi, did you express your monstrous nature and or express your humanity?
I don't think so particularly.
I think
that was just
your
a whole-
curiosity with
I was
the-
gonna say curiosity.
the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've sort of expressed your monstrous humanity in going to the lab and just sort of taking over.
Okay.
And then
sure, I'll
getting
take
all
it.
curious about wait, what's this? Clones? What? Love it. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
Oh boy. That depends on how much studying of the Rosario is going to happen, because if they come out of the rift and they have different timelines or different histories, that's useful information for destroying the world.
Oh my gosh. You gotta remind me of that for next time. It's like, gotta
God,
give you an
Petri would
opportunity.
have such a conversation. That's one of my wishes.
Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
I don't think so.
And you did attempt to unlock Doom's door, so no ruin is marked. What is your impulse?
To seek solitude and turn away from hope for the future, which, yes, and then immediately nerd sniped. The hardest nerd snipe that Vivi has ever experienced, possibly.
Perfectly
I'm
diverted.
gonna go be alone. Oh wait, what is that shiny science thing?
Right. What is that shiny science thing? Oh man. So beautiful. Our angel. Okay.
Okay.
Or half angel, whatever the heck,
What
whatever
do-
the heck your playbook is at the moment.
Most of the way to an entire playbook.
Did you express your monstrous nature and or express your humanity?
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
I don't think so.
No. Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
No.
Attempted to
And
unlock.
yes.
Okay. So definitely no ruin. And what was your impulse?
Impulse is attempt to find meaning in your relationship with another, which I definitely for sure did.
Yes, you did. Okay.
Wait, is
All
that
right.
2 or 3?
Hold on.
That's
1,
2.
2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then yeah, stars and wishes. You know the drill. I mean, bat boy, howdy, like lots to appreciate on this one. And then wishes for the future. I mean, everybody seems to want to be bringing somebody home to division. Such a collection. My God, you guys. Oh, jeez. Damn. Stars for all the reactions. Sorry, I'm going first. Yeah, stars for all the reactions. It's like, I just felt like we got to know a really interesting side of Wisp this session. Discovering things, grasping keys and all that, but I mean, like, still this whole tie to something possibly of her past, or twisted depending on what the rift is or what the rift means. Who knows? And there's more than one of them, evidently. So I mean, like, could be anything. Who knows? And then with Vivi and your monstrosity, and then coming from being hollowed, and then like in your shock you wander to the place where you feel the most comfortable, and then finding something even weirder than expected. I mean, like, I love the reactions. It's like, very, very monstrous and very human at the same time. So that was great. And then Zero, damn. The most human out of all of them, but yet the most terrible. And I love it. I'm just like, wow. I mean, like, I'm always interested to see what you do next, because then it's like I have to like try to be 3 steps ahead of you, and I'm not sure if I can. But it's fun to try. And then Petri, just so weird and adorable. And I'm like, even though the interactions were brief today, I mean, like, I was like still enjoying, like, Petri's strangeness. And I like it. I mean, I just want to see more of, like, them dealing with others, like not only the other Omens, but like, also like, this thing with Lydia. I mean, like, what is that kind of relationship going on? Who the hell knows? And I'm curious to find out. And yeah, I mean, like, we should have like Agent Peace step back into the mix at some point, especially now that you guys are gonna go deal with unlocking Doom's door. So I'm excited for that. All right, and go for it.
I'll go. The scene with Wisp and the Rosario and Damien,
Donovan.
Thank you. That was so good. I loved the edge to your voice when you spoke as Wisp. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of this discovery. As Mad said, Petri is so weird, but what really stuck with me was that like forming the shell around oh my gosh, names are just fleeing my brain. Lydia, thank you. And then stepping out of that, it was just a really cool, strange visual. Matt, the curiosity that Vivi showed, and also just casually saying he is absolutely plotting to kidnap this person. I mean, it wasn't a surprise, but it was perfect.
Which person though? There's 25, 20, 24, 25.
One or number 10 or
10. I mean,
yeah, the
that's
useless
why.
one.
Exactly.
Useless one.
That's the if you're gonna steal one, it's just polite to take the one that's least useful.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And Mads, I really liked what all the little consequences that you threw at us, the little twists, and having to think about these kind of weird, vague, surreal prompts and make it something real and emotionally real is fun, and you do a really good job at that. My wish, I really want Petri to find Zero doing this before we close the door.
Oh no. But
Okay.
who's going to close the door? That's going to be my question. I cannot wait to see who ends up closing the door.
Third time's the fucking charm, I guess.
Well,
We'll see.
see. Sorry.
I'm excited. God, this is such a question. Actually, I'm excited for every possible answer to that. Okay. Stars. Star 2-0 for inflicting your angst on literally everyone in the entire island. Beautiful moment. Star 2, Matt, as has previously been mentioned, I just loved how perfectly you were diverted from whatever you had going on by encountering a strange lady. Like a scientific curiosity. Oh, Petri could use that for ammo so hard. And Wisp, you continue to take no nonsense from anybody in a party of people who are usually on the supply side of nonsense, and I appreciate it. Wishes. I think it's been my wish all 3 times. I want Petri to interact with those teens. And every wish that has been said so far. I'm just excited.
I can go. A lot of things have been mentioned already, but I have a couple more. Ben, I just have Zero casts mass depression as a star. Chris, I liked it was just a little moment, but it was the Lydia saying, "Is that wise?" and Petri saying, "Usually I ask you that," was a nice inversion, and it just sort of a nice like changing of sort of mental state and character growth and like nice inversion of that relationship. I quite like that. Elle, I think Wisp always has the best like one-liners. I know all about your secrets and your riffs and your kumbaya prayer circles. Like, oh, yep. Wisp continues to not give a shit about, subtlety, nuance, just straight through. I loved it. It was so good. And Mads, I really appreciated it. I thought the Rosarios were done. They were very similar, but you got a little bit of difference for each one of them. I thought when the two that talked, I knew which one was speaking pretty easily, even though you had the same affect going, and I was like, oh, that's real good. I like that. So, star for that. Wishes. I wish to steal a Rosario or several Rosarios. I hope Commander Payne gets comeuppance, and I'm looking forward to a big bombastic door closing disaster party max chaos thing. That's all I got.
Yeah, seconding everything that was said. I really enjoyed the scene between Petri and Lydia. Yeah, I think Vivi's immediate curiosity about the Rosarios is really fun. And I think gave Matt a good chance to showcase the different personalities or different iterations. I don't know what word to use, but yeah, that scene was super fun as well. And yeah, Zero continues to kind of walk that line between petulant teen and like extremely dangerous, like weapon of destruction. And I'm kind of excited to see that scale tip further. For wishes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to figuring out what's going on with Donovan. I feel like there's something interesting there. I also feel like I want someone to go physically like into the rift. I think that would be cool. I don't know who it should be, but I would be very excited if that happens. So yeah.
Damn, so many possibilities, and that's what makes it worse because there's so many possibilities. I never know. Usually I can suspect, like, how things are gonna go, but for the end of for a resolution, for a threat, a mystery, whatever. But for this particular game, whatever the hell you guys do, it's just so organic, it's ridiculous. And I'm here for it, but damn, I'm also scared because I don't know what you're gonna do. So, oh man, yeah, I can't wait to see who's gonna open up Doom's door. Yep. I mean, maybe end up on the other side, or maybe meet up with a Rosario and get completely distracted. Who knows? Who knows? It could be any of those things. So, yeah, I look forward to next time, which should be next week. I think, Elle, you said you weren't sure whether you're going to be traveling at that point. So, keep us posted if you're able to be here. We really hope you will be for the resolution of this particular mystery. And if you're not, we will totally miss you. Oh no. But yeah, just like, yeah, looking forward to next week and seeing the end of this, however it turns out. Okay. Anything else? Alrighty.
Thank you for running it.
No, thank you for playing. Oh my gosh. You guys have a wonderful week. Happy gaming to you all, and I will see you next time. See ya. Bye.
Good night.